In Hollywood, things can change in an instant. One day you're on top of the world, your face on the poster brings in hundreds of millions, and the next day fans only remember you when your once famous name shows up somewhere in the credits of a random TV show. One flop, a few years without a major hit, a scandal, or personal issues, and even the biggest stars can disappear. I've already released several videos about cases like these, but today we'll talk about something different. Actors who were practically written off, yet suddenly returned to the top after just one role. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like to support the video, and let's get started. Brendan Fraser's career began with a burst of activity. Just a year after graduating from college, in 1990, he appeared for the first time on screen, in the background, in a low-budget film called Dogfight. And he could have spent years trying to land a more serious role, just like hundreds of other 20-something graduates who came to Hollywood hoping to make it big. However, his next appearance, this time in a leading role, came in the somewhat cult comedy Encino Man, where he played a caveman who suddenly wakes up after an extremely long sleep. The film turned out to be a big success. Sure, the reviews were terrible, but with a modest $7 million budget, it still made $40 million at the box office. After that came School Ties, where Fraser starred alongside then-unknown actors like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. And even though the film didn't make its money back, Fraser himself later admitted that this was his first truly serious leading role. From 1993 to 1997, he appeared in 8 more full-length films, most of which were either barely known or completely unknown. His career could have easily stalled there, until George of the Jungle came out in 1997 and made nearly $200 million worldwide. That put Fraser on the path to the success he would fully reach just 2 years later. The Mummy became the defining film of his career, the perfect role that solidified him as an action hero. The huge success of the first 2 films, which together grossed nearly $800 million, created the illusion that Hollywood had found a new actor who would star in every third action comedy. But that never actually happened. Fraser didn't become a hostage to a single type of character. He acted in goofy comedies, serious dramas, and whatever Looney Tunes, back in action is supposed to be. He even appeared in 3 episodes of the TV series Scrubs, where everyone remembers him as Ben. I talked about that role in detail in my review of the show. Yet all his films shared one thing in common: they all flopped at the box office. There were attempts to return to his popular action-adventure image in Journey to the Center of the Earth and The Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, but after that, things more or less came to an end. Minor roles in G.I. Joe, The Disastrous Furry Vengeance, and a few other low-budget projects finally put an end to Brendan's status as a Hollywood star. From 2013 to 2019, he didn't appear in a single film, only a handful of TV roles. And there were several reasons for that. First of all, physical ones. Years of intense stunt work in blockbusters left Fraser with serious health issues. He underwent neurosurgery on his spine, a partial knee replacement, and operations on his vocal cords. He practically lived in hospitals. His personal life wasn't easy either. A divorce, the death of his mother, and adjusting to a new life as a father of 3. All of this took a toll on his emotional state. He also struggled emotionally after losing the role of Superman in the 2006 film. The part ultimately went to Brandon Routh. Fraser felt like he no longer met Hollywood's expectations. As he later admitted, at one point the phone just stopped ringing, and new roles stopped coming. In 2019, he appeared in The Poison Rose. I'd be surprised if any of you had even heard of it. The film stars Travolta, Freeman, and Famke Janssen, yet it grossed an impressive $300,000 at the box office and received equally impressive reviews. A 0% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes and 21 out of 100 from audiences. Roles in movies that aren't even Category B, more like Category D or Z, are hardly the kind of lines you want on your resume. Brendan Fraser even went all the way to Bollywood, appearing in the film Behind the Curtain of Night. It seemed like things couldn't go any lower. Yet throughout all this time, fans never forgot him. The internet even coined the term Brennaissance, expressing hope for his return to active work. And everything changed suddenly when he landed a role in Darren Aronofsky's drama The Whale. Fraser transformed into a reclusive English teacher living with severe obesity. Both the director and the actor approached the character with deep responsibility. Fraser wore special prosthetic equipment for several hours every day and consulted with organizations that support people struggling with obesity, making sure to portray not only the physical appearance but also their emotional state. When the film premiered at the Venice Film Festival, the audience gave a standing ovation that lasted several minutes, in part for Fraser's performance. And then, likely not even daring to dream of such a moment anymore, he won the Oscar for Best Actor. After such extraordinary success, Fraser didn't suddenly become a top-tier star again with several major premieres each year. But he did appear in Killers of the Flower Moon by Scorsese. He has an upcoming comedy Rental Family releasing on January 15th, and he's also set to star in the British war film Pressure alongside Andrew Scott. It may not be a massive comeback to Hollywood's A-list, but considering the depth he climbed back from, you can't help but feel happy for him. Matthew McConaughey never actually planned to become an actor. He originally studied law, but after reading the book The Greatest Salesman in the World, he decided his path should be different and went on to pursue an acting education. His first appearances on screen were far from Hollywood. He acted in commercials and in some third-rate TV shows. McConaughey later said that back then he was simply looking for any job that would let him get comfortable in front of the camera. His breakthrough happened purely by chance. In 1992, he happened to be in a hotel bar in Austin, where he met casting director Don Phillips. Phillips offered him an audition for Richard Linklater's new film, and that's how he landed a role in Dazed and Confused. He later said that he improvised most of his lines, and that creative freedom became the push that made him truly believe in his own acting talent. In the second half of the 90s, he began receiving more serious roles, in the drama A Time to Kill, in Steven Spielberg's Amistad, and in Robert Zemeckis' sci-fi film Contact, where he starred alongside Jodie Foster. These projects solidified his status as a serious dramatic actor capable of working with Hollywood's top directors and stars. By the late 90s, McConaughey had become one of the most promising actors of his generation. And it was at this moment that Hollywood began to see him not just as a dramatic performer, but also as the perfect future leading man for romantic comedies, a genre that would define his career for the next decade. In 2001, he starred alongside Jennifer Lopez in The Wedding Planner. The film received mixed reviews from critics, but earned nearly $100 million and opened a golden vein of opportunities in the rom-com genre for McConaughey. The success repeated itself with Kate Hudson in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which grossed over $170 million worldwide on a budget of around $50 million. Over the following years, he regularly appeared in similar projects: Failure to Launch with Sarah Jessica Parker, Fool's Gold Again with Kate Hudson, and Ghosts of Girlfriends Past with Jennifer Garner. Box office-wise, these films were more than successful, and McConaughey's image as the perfect romantic leading man became firmly established. And although he did appear in occasional action movies that people forget a few months after release, like Reign of Fire, and in serious crime thrillers such as The Lincoln Lawyer, everyone still continued to see him only as the same romantic lead. This exact success became a problem. Critics began calling him too predictable, an actor of a single genre. McConaughey later admitted that during this period he started feeling tired of the monotony, even though he was earning huge paychecks. As a result, by the late 2000s he had almost disappeared from major studio releases. And this disappearance became the foundation for his future transformation, the legendary period that came to be known as the McConaissance. During this time, he consciously stepped away from studio premieres and turned down new romantic comedies. In several interviews, he recalled refusing even multi-million-dollar contracts to reboot his career. "I didn't want to be the guy with the bright white smile who runs around without a shirt anymore." And it worked. In 2011 and 2012, McConaughey returned to cinema with unexpected roles in low-budget films. First came the crime drama Killer Joe, which premiered at the Venice Film Festival, followed by Mud, which screened at Cannes. These weren't massive hits, but McConaughey's performances received widespread praise. In 2012, Magic Mike was released, where he played a memorable supporting role. The film grossed $167 million on a modest budget. But the real breakthrough came in 2013 with the drama Dallas Buyers Club. For the role of a man suffering from AIDS, McConaughey lost more than 20 kilograms, completely immersed himself in the character, and delivered a performance that stunned everyone. The role earned him an Oscar for Best Actor. But this period wasn't limited to film alone. In 2014, the series True Detective was released, a show that has already entered history as one of the greatest ever made, and his role in it became iconic. That same year, he solidified his success in Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, where, honestly, he deserved nominations for every award just for the emotional scene of watching his children's video messages, but the Academy held back. And of course, we can't forget The Wolf of Wall Street. A small role, yes, but what a role it was. After such a trio of hits, It seemed McConaughey was at the absolute peak of his career. He had awards, box office success, and the freedom to choose any role he wanted. But the following years turned out to be far less triumphant. The Sea of Trees, Free State of Jones, Gold, Serenity, all of them flopped. Even the major adaptation of Stephen King's The Dark Tower was widely regarded as a failure. In the post-Dallas Buyers Club era, the only truly notable comeback was The Gentleman, where he was a perfect fit for the role. In the 2020s, McConaughey once again took a long break from acting and didn't appear in films. Only this year are his first new premieres expected, not counting Deadpool 3 and the Sing sequel, where he only did voice work. Wherever Matthew McConaughey's career goes from here, he has already proven that it is never too late to change your image and to be reborn as an actor. Michael Keaton was born as Michael Douglas, the youngest of 7 children in a family of an engineer and a homemaker. As he later recalled, being the youngest meant he had to entertain his brothers and sisters. And even then, those little performances gave him confidence and his first experience as an actor. He dropped out of university to try his luck in show business. His early steps were modest. Michael worked on a children's TV show, appearing in small segments and helping out as a studio technical assistant. When he went to auditions in Los Angeles, he learned that the Screen Actors Guild prohibited him from using the name Michael Douglas, since it was already taken. So for purely practical reasons, he opened the phone book and picked the surname Keaton. In interviews he later joked, "I just looked in the directory and thought, well, that sounds fine." At first, he acted in sitcoms and small comedies. His first notable success came with the film Mr. Mom, about a man who stays at home with his kids. The movie earned $65 million on a budget of $5 million, and Keaton received praise for his performance. The most significant year for the actor was 1988. That year he drastically changed his image from a simple comedic actor, the kind Hollywood churns out every day, to something very different. He played Beetlejuice in Tim Burton's film of the same name, and also starred in Ron Howard's Clean and Sober, with whom he had previously worked in comedies. These 2 roles brought him both popularity and critical acclaim for a serious dramatic performance. When it became known that Tim Burton wanted Keaton to play Bruce Wayne in his Batman, fans were, to put it mildly, baffled by the casting. At that time, he was seen exclusively as a comedic actor. DC received over 50,000 letters of protest from comic book fans. Everyone was convinced that a comedian like him would ruin the image of the dark superhero. But Keaton proved everyone wrong. His version of the hero became, for a long time, the definitive one, and the film grossed over $400 million worldwide, becoming one of the decade's biggest hits. 3 years later he reprised the role in Batman Returns. Although its success was slightly smaller, Keaton had by then firmly become a top-tier star. He was invited to stay for the 3rd Batman film, but he refused because he didn't see the same depth in the script that Burton had brought to the character. The role went to Val Kilmer, and Keaton began searching for new projects. In the mid-90s, he tried to balance dramatic roles with classic comedies, and even appeared in a Quentin Tarantino film. In the 2000s, he appeared on the big screen less and less. And we can all agree that Herbie, Fully Loaded, although expensive and profitable, clearly signaled that something in his career had gone off track. There was no longer anything like Batman, a film that would become a true cultural event. The actor admitted in interviews that he had deliberately stepped away from blockbusters. He spent more time in Colorado, went fishing, and enjoyed life outside Hollywood. But, as he said, "I never thought my career was over. I just found life more interesting than chasing every role." And so the actor who once played one of the most iconic superheroes gradually faded into the background in Hollywood, until Alejandro González Iñárritu released a film in 2014 about an actor who once portrayed a legendary superhero but is now trying to prove he is still capable of real art. Birdman is a movie that impressed me deeply at the time. The acting, the cinematography, the direction, everything felt genuine. True art. Birdman became a sensation. It won the Oscar for Best Picture, and Keaton was nominated for Best Actor. Although he didn't take home the statue, his comeback was described as one of the most emotional and meta-ironic returns in Hollywood history. After that, Keaton became sought after again. In 2015, he starred in the drama Spotlight, which also won the Oscar for Best Picture. In 2016, he appeared in the biopic The Founder, about the creation of the McDonald's empire. In 2017, he returned to the superhero genre, but this time as a villain, in the first Tom Holland Spider-Man film. He worked with Burton once more in Dumbo, played Batman again, and even reprised Beetlejuice. As you can see, over the past 10 years Michael Keaton has experienced the best period of his entire career, and now he's 73. He continues to act, and he's probably happy that he took time to actually live his life 20 years ago, because later he barely had time for that. So there you have it. One role can change an entire career. Like the video, leave a comment if you want to see more stories like this. This was Miney, and I'll talk to you very soon.